I have waited 8 long years for rapping from NCT like this, and I finally have it, and I get to share it all with you. This is so cool. What Taeyong and Mark, specifically Mark, does in this brand new song is so cool. If you haven't heard it yet, you can check the link in the description or the pinned comment. I have the verse lined up with the flow, so you can see it lined up and play at the same time because I can't play it in the video, but the song sounds great overall. This is the intro to the album coming out this month, and they rap this crazy. Here we go. This is the flow, right? This is the flow written out musically. This is the rhythm of the syllables of their words written out in music notes right here, except for this first bar right here. This is not a triplet here. I'm just using this as an example from what I'm about to talk about. So essentially, this verse is split between Mark and Taeyong, and it looks like Mark has more lines, but it's not technically true because Taeyong does have an extra little part separated before this, but I didn't transcribe that. It's basically just triplets from what I could tell. Right here, though, we have Mark doing 4 bars, then into Taeyong going straight into 8 bars to down here, and then Mark finishing off with these last 4.5 bars of triplets that are I've written as sextuplets because I think it's easier to understand what they're doing with all the offbeat stuff that I'm about to talk about. So, in as simple terms as possible, you know how we call stuff offbeat? Mark and Taeyong are basically doing on-beat offbeat triplets. What does that mean? Let's look at measure 1, where I wrote this example down. Or let's not do that. Hi, Future Matt here in the editing program. I'm going to explain this much better to you with a frozen me behind you. And, you know, let's just scrap this and go into a black screen, because this is going to be much easier than me trying to explain it by doing duh-duh-duhs and scatting to you, okay? Here is a bar. This is a measure. This is a single bar in rapping, per se, right? What I typically mean when I say on beat is the traditional way to break down rhythms in music. You can do it in quarters, and this is like feeling the beat, right? This is the typical beat that you feel is the quarter note, 4 pulses in each bar. You can break that down evenly by breaking it in half to eighths, breaking in that in half again to 16ths like this, right? You can keep doing that. That's very much on beat. You can also do a very common thing of triplets that I'm sure most of you know, which is breaking it into 3s. That's also a very common way of breaking it down. So when I talk about something being offbeat, I mean breaking it down like this. Instead of it being what I showed you here with eighth notes, for example. These are called eighth notes, where you break it down pulse and, right? What an offbeat, what I would typically call, is your quarter, 3/4, quarter, 3/4. So you're in between the part you would typically feel in the song, right? In the song, which is already really hard to do. What Mark and Taeyong are doing here, though, and why I said on-beat, off-beat thing, is because they're doing triplets. And the triplets are starting on beat. They're starting on, it's lined up with the quarter here. Do you see? They're both, the triplet is lined up with that quarter note. Mark and Taeyong are starting on the in-between of a triplet. It is the halfway point between the 3 triplets. Instead of starting the triplet just at the half, which I would normally say is the offbeat triplet, right? You're starting it at the halfway between the 2 pulses. You're starting this triplet at the half of a trip. You see why this is hard to explain? But yeah, this isn't the first time we've ever seen this in K-pop. We've seen this before, but I've never seen it this consistently before. Anyways, back into the video. Sorry this took so long to explain, but it's good to know for this first part here. Yeah, I don't even have a word for it. I've never had to describe this before. Hopefully it's easy to follow. If you know a good thing to call this, I don't know. But they do it multiple times. And that's basically what this is. Because it's a bunch of triplets mixed in with these like on-beat, off-beat triplets. Which is like, Mark does one up here with surrounded by a bunch of triplets, which by the way, this is not supposed to be this. This is supposed to be a quarter note right here. No, wait, that's a lie. It's just this. I forgot what I put. Anyway, Mark starts up here. Mainly does like a triplety thing to establish the base of the rap, which is going to be triplets, right? And does like a little preview of these on-beat or off-beat triplets. It goes into Taeyong, who continues the triplets right here, right? And goes into the flow change. After fully committing to the triplets down here, he goes into the flow change where he introduces fully these on-beat, off-beat triplets, where he ends every single bar in them. Right here, that on-beat, off-beat triplet that he stumbles back into on-beats. Again, this on-beat, off-beat triplet that stumbles back into on-beat. And he keeps doing that consistently until it switches over to Mark in this bar here. We go into Mark, who takes a break from it for 1 second, going into eighth notes with a triplet, and then continues this, what Taeyong started with, these on-beat, off-beat triplets. Really cool from both of them. Really cool that they kept it consistent throughout. Really cool just overall. But that's not even the best part of this verse. Typically, even if this was just the verse, I'd still make a video about how cool this is, right? Just this off-beat, on-beat, on-beat, off-beat, whatever I call it, triplet. Just that is cool enough on a video. But that's not all. This. The creme de la creme. The cream of the crop. The best part of this rap, the best rap Mark has ever freaking done, is right here. This is it. Whew, okay, what is he doing here? He starts on the offbeat, and basically, there's two ways to describe this. Hopefully one of these makes sense to you, because it's impossible any other way. One, he is rapping a very odd flow, something that you don't hear too often, over multiple bars continuously with just a few breaks to break it up. Constantly going over the bar, so you're not getting the constant feel of that one. Doing his own thing, right? However, the easier way to describe this, that I think more people will understand and actually think is more impressive, he is rapping on a different tempo. You can write this exact part, and it is 30 million times easier to understand this if you write it in 153 BPM. It's just eighth notes into triplets. And that's why people hear it and you think, oh, he's just doing triplets. It's nothing special. He's not just doing triplets. If you want to say he's doing triplets, he is doing triplets in a different tempo and different time signature than the song. That's the easiest way to describe this, but if you want it the more complicated way, he is doing off beats, dotted 16th notes with a dotted 8th note cadence, constantly going over the bar while fitting in two random ass 8th notes right here and right here. That's break up the flow a bit into keep going over the bar, splicing in regular 16th notes on the offbeat. They give it a triplet feel because they're used to feeling it as fast eighth notes. And then he goes into what people would call a 4/3 polyrhythm that feels like a triplet because he's doing it in a different feel of a 153 BPM, and then doing a really cool and then back into the. This is the best thing Mark has ever done rap-wise, and I cannot stress enough how impressive this is, that it is probably, in my opinion, one of the best raps of the year. Top one, if not. You want to make an argument for maybe Jongseub, maybe one or two other things. It is top three at the least so far this year. Holy, this is so freaking good. This is so skilled. It is so talented. I just wonder where this has been. He has always written super poppy and catchy raps, and don't get me wrong, that is really good for K-pop, and it's why he's seen as such a good rapper, because he writes really catchy parts and really easy to follow along with parts. This is not it. This is the most complex thing he's ever done, and one of the most complex things that we have seen this year. He's rapping in a different tempo. He's rapping in a different tempo! That's crazy. You, again, just to stress this, you can write this measure in 153 BPM in a 4/3 time signature, and it will be the same thing, but look like eighth notes with triplets. Have a nice day, everyone. Okay, I really wanted to end it on that because that would have been really spicy and cool, but shout out to all these amazing Patrons, because I could not be making the videos like this without them, because it's K-pop. The K-pop companies, you know, I like to copyright my channel, and I don't get too much from YouTube, so I could not be making these videos without the amazing, gracious people I have on Patreon that, you know, support me monetarily. And if you have the means to do so and want to see some reactions from me and want to see me, you know, just like reactions to stuff that I don't put on YouTube, come feel free to join the Patreon. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't have the means to do so, that's okay. Come join us on Discord. I'd love to have you as part of our community, and supports me just the same. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you all hopefully in the next one. Yeah, have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.